what sort of draws you to teaching this course at CC? Colorado has so many phenomenal institutions, and a lot of them do have pretty heavy environmental mindsets. So why CC? I know that there's a familial connection for you.
Yeah, I grew up near here. Left town when I was 18, but I'm kind of fond of the place. Especially on days like this where there's a little fresh snow on the mountain out there. It's being at Colorado College situates students really well to look at Rocky Mountain region environment issues, which are pretty good manifestations of the big global environment challenges. And this course basically looks at the air, land, and water struggles that are shaping the West. I know CC has for many years had the State of the Rockies program, which gives a handful of students a chance to take a sort of active learning approach to environment issues around the West, such as the Monument Creek, urban waterways issue, which is fascinating, and public lands issues over the years, watershed management around the West, and this class will give a chance for a few more students to sort of engage in that sort of active learning on environment issues in the West.
It's interesting. Well, so it seems, you keep talking about, these small groups of students when the role of journalism is to really sort of spread information on a greater scale. And so as an environmental journalist with this really kind of niche field of being aware of the, mineral and land use issues in the West, how do you draw people in? How do you make that journalism engaging?
Well, 80% of the work of journalism is just finding the stuff out and then writing it. And so I guess it might be sort of the ultimate active learning approach. So the idea of this class is basically to deploy journalistic method, a super active way of trying to elicit new information. So gather it, verify it, and analyze it, and then assimilate it in a context. So I'm sort of banking on CC students being the ultimate quick studies, and it's a hard course because I'm basically training people up to function like professional hard news reporters. And I've done it, versions of courses that incorporate this about 7 times here, starting with some international affairs courses, and now with this water, oil, and land reporting on environment issues of the West.
It's an interesting crossover, the quick deadline-based turnaround of journalism and the block program definitely have some pretty distinct similarities there. So you mentioned the context that we're operating in now and sort of trying to find maybe new stories, and it seems like over even the past 7 years that you've been teaching this course, we've seen this pretty drastic change and increase in urgency in sort of addressing these issues that are affecting the West and the world as a whole. They just released that the report, the UN just released the climate change report.
So great, you're doing your homework already.
Yeah.
It's a really good time, I think, to have this class because of the context with this UN-backed consensus report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is based on, 6,000 scientific studies at a time when the Trump administration is trying to pull us back from efforts to internationally tackle the climate change issues. That's one big piece of context information here. There's a lot of legal landscape stuff we will go through in this class, looking at national and state court decisions that sort of shape the landscape. And I think we'll probably do a quick review of the main environmental laws, because even though that's not directly relevant to reporting a story on site, it's the context, and you understand what's happening better if you can wade through some of that other stuff efficiently, because you can't really function without having an information system to give people facts that they can use as their roadmap for doing self-rule. And so, as you point out, there are lots of shifting delivery systems, but the core skills of journalism, it's sort of an objective method that journalists use to try to get at the truth, is something that's been developing since before the nation broke free from colonial rule, and is going to continue to evolve Another point I'd like to make is to your question here. The skills of the journalists use to actively find out information are useful all over the place. If you're working in government, or private sector, in a corporation, in schools, in academia, it's scientists have a scientific method about going after the truth. Your social scientists use surveys, polling. Journalists have a sort of method that they use to try to verify and distill information and get it out to people who need it to make decisions. Because if you can think clearly and follow a precise method of verifying facts, then you can usually write clearly. And so it isn't just sort of a journalism class. It's a class that will, I think, use journalism skills as a prism to look through this set of airline and water issues. But also it's a skills development class where you'll gain the ability to write and think that you can apply wherever your path takes you.